Hi everyone, so it is Tuesday morning. I should really have filmed this yesterday, but I wasn't really feeling like it. So Sunday night, I lay in bed and literally just lay listening to an Unwanted guest by Shari Lapena so that I could actually just get it finished because I was so hooked. And indeed I did. This audiobook was really something quite special. It pulled me in and felt like something kind of more classical with a modern twist in a way, because it felt like I was watching in my head like an episode of Midsummer Murders, you know, like really classic old school whodunit style-y. And so I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I don't feel like I should tell you too much about what it's about, because the less you know, go in knowing it, the better, because you need to create all your character judgments for yourself. I will say though, that out of the group of people that went to this hotel and then started dying, and rather started getting murdered, and then out of the people that I had to choose from that were there, I didn't correctly guess who the killer was at all. And I was really blindsided with that, because I had such a firm idea in my head and I was like, this is definitely it, that I didn't even see obvious clues that were sat in front of me. So I'd really like to know how I'd have kind of got on with the guessing side of things if I hadn't been so stubborn and been like, this is definitely how it went down, this is definitely who it is. I was a million miles away. And the only thing I could have potentially predicted is a little twist at the end. I might have been able to predict that if I'd been looking for it, but the rest blew me away, and I really enjoyed the experience. I love a good whodunit. It's been ages since I've really read or listened to one that's kind of so old school like that, and I've really missed it and I want more. Hi everyone, so I went to go and throw this video together and realised there was nothing to throw together because I've been forgetting to vlog every time I finish a book this week. So I have done one update for you. Since then I have finished another 3 books, so I guess I better talk about them now. The first one was Providence by Kepnes, and I received a free copy of this one from the publishers via NetGalley, and I went into this with low expectations, because despite the fact that Kepnes is definitely one of my favourite thriller authors, I had seen some very negative reviews on this book and I was quite nervous. So I was, very, very cautious going into this, knowing full well that it'd be totally different to anything that I've ever read before, and definitely very different to you. As it was, because I went in with such low expectations, I actually loved this book. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't a 5-star read for me by any means, but 4 stars I am still really chuffed with. So this follows a character named John, and he gets kidnapped and he disappears, and his best friend Chloe is like, I don't know what to do with myself. She really struggles to get over this, and about 4 years pass and she's just starting to move on with her life. She's hanging out with guys that actually used to bully John, and she doesn't necessarily feel like she totally fits in, but at the same time she's making an effort and it's all that she can do, kind of thing. So yeah, she's just starting to learn to kind of get by without John, when suddenly John reappears, and it turns out that he was kidnapped and stored in a basement in a shop for 4 years in a coma. And the guy that had abducted him, as he let him go, said you are now totally different, you will never be the same again. And John's a bit like, I don't know what to make of this. And then all of a sudden John realises he's actually got some sort of weird special powers now, and he finds out through awful consequences of things that happen. And this sort of sets the scene for the rest of the book. Throughout the book you do get chapters from Chloe and chapters from John, so you get to see both of their perspectives as all these things happen. Then about a third of the way into the book you get a third perspective, which is a detective, and it's great fun trying to work out how these are all going to interconnect. So I'm not going to say any more than that. I will say that I just love Kepnes' writing. The moment I started reading it felt like I was back at home, even though it was a totally different subject to what she'd normally have done. It was still a thriller, but there was definitely a very heavy sci-fi twist to it, which some people aren't going to like. So, you do need to keep that in mind if you are thinking about picking this book up. That's all I'm going to say about it here. I adored it. And if you're on the fence, just go in with very low expectations and just give it a go, because you might be surprised like I was. So the next book I finished was Kitten Rescue, which is an animal arc book by Lucy Daniels. And I gave this book 5 stars. And again, I also got this one free from the publishers via NetGalley. Now this one, I wasn't surprised to give it 5 stars. Well, I sort of was. I was expecting to go into this with all the nostalgia of the original Animal Arc books, because this is a brand new series. And I went into it thinking, am I too old for this now? But I checked it out. I actually really enjoyed it. I got a great sense of nostalgia with it, but also just I enjoyed the actual storyline. It was cute. It was exactly what I expected from Animal Arc. But the extra fun things about it for me were, first of all, cameos from original characters in the books. Always a winner. And also there's at the back like some advice on what to do if you, for example, find an animal in distress yourself, or like what pets need if you were kind of thinking about asking your parents for a dog or cat. So this is really educational and makes children think about the consequences of trying to get your parents to get you a pet as well, or about helping to rescue an animal and then wanting to take it in. It doesn't just sugarcoat things. Like, the story doesn't even sugarcoat things. It teaches about responsibility, and I really like that. There's loads of really cute like illustrations in the book too, so if a younger reader was to pick it up, I think they'd really enjoy it. And this is totally different to the final book I want to talk to you about today, which is Good Me, Bad Me by Ali Land. And a friend lent me this, and it's taken me far too long to get to it. She was like, you need to read this book. So I finally got around to it. I picked it up and loved it. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars as well. So this follows a character who goes by 2 names. Her original name is Annie, but she has been put into witness protection and had a name change, so her name is now Millie. And Annie, Millie, whatever you want to call her, for the rest of this video I will call her Millie, basically is trying to sort of come to terms with the fact that her mother was a serial killer. And she goes through many phases of wondering if she's a good person or if she's a bad person. Is she like her mum? Is she not? As this is a psychological thriller, it takes you on many, many twists and turns. And I absolutely loved this. It got 4 stars rather than 5 because every once in a while I just thought it dragged a little bit. I didn't necessarily think that it was very realistic, the situation that Millie was put in her new foster home. That just didn't sit right with me. I didn't feel like that was the best place for her to go. But all the same, I highly recommend this too. And if you've been sort of umming and ahhing on whether to pick it up, definitely go for it. It's a great quick read. So I think I rushed through all those a little bit, but that is everything else that I have read this week. So 4 books read, another fantastic week for me. Reading slump? What reading slump? I am so over it. And hopefully this up and coming week will also be equally good, and hopefully I will also actually be able to remember to vlog as I finish each book. Because right now I may as well just be sitting and filming weekly reading wrap-ups on a Sunday, because that's essentially what I'm doing, but with bad lighting and awkward angles. So thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you have read recently. I would love to know. Let me know if you've read any of the books I talked to you about today, or whether you want to read any of them. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!